Sorry, Dr. Lai, your name changed to Irene Hong. I don't know why.
I don't know. Let me see how to change that.
You probably need to change again.
How to change that? I forgot.
Yeah, same thing. You just click your name, and then.
How to do it? I forgot how to do it.
与会者点那个与会者，然后找到 Irene 红这个名字，点下去之后，右边有一个更。
OK。
对。Okay.
We will start in 1-2 minutes time that the next attendees arrive, participants. Let's have 2 more minutes waiting for them. Okay, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you for joining us today. It will be our first global dialogue about biotech, and in particular, we will discuss Taiwan biotech innovation and legal challenge. I would like to warmly welcome our speakers, as well as our moderator, YiYun. So it will be an event organized by Berkeley Global Society. Berkeley Global Society is today an international organization having a direct presence in 110 countries. In the last 2 years, we have done hundreds of events in more than 30 countries. Today, we are unlocking knowledge and dialogues all over the world by also using virtual discussions. So it was very important for me and for us today to have these discussions about biotech with experts from Taiwan, but not only from Taiwan, because we have people from Europe and also people from United States. One word about YiYun. YiYun is a talented lawyer. You are, YiYun, a BGS member, and you are working in the health technology sector in Taiwan. So today you will be our moderator to spend with us the next 1 hour, the next 2 hours. We are expecting between 200 and 300 participants, people, and it will be diffused via 2 or 3 channels. Please mute your microphone when people are talking, and also avoid to have your image on the screen. Thank you very much. Enjoy your experience with Berkeley Global Society. YiYun, it's your time. Thank you.
Thank you, and hello, and welcome to today's webinar on Biotech Innovation and Legal Challenge. Thank you for taking time out and being here today. I'm the moderator, YiYun Hong. You can call me Irene. Okay, and I'm going to share screen. Please wait a minute. To begin, please mute yourself while the others speak. And if you want to ask our questions or leave us comments, please use the chat feature. We will choose 3 to 4 questions to ask our panelists at the end of Q&A time. If you would like to talk with our panelists or you can connect with us on LinkedIn. I will provide the links at the end of Q&A session time. The final Q&A time will be 20 minutes for 3 to 4 questions. In case you are not familiar with Zoom, you can see the screenshot on the right-hand side. Click chat, then you can type the questions or comments there as shown in the blue box. Taiwan has demonstrated a strong track record of success in a healthcare system innovation and public policy. For example, private investment in Taiwan's biotech sector reached Taiwanese $55.1 billion, which is equal to $1.9 billion in 2019, and has been increasing steadily at a CAGR of 6.26% since 2010. The biotech industry could one day become the next trillion-dollar industry in Taiwan. Additionally, Taiwan, an island with a population of approximately 23 million people, has only had around 500 confirmed cases and 7 deaths. This equals to roughly 25 cases per every million people. While in the United States, this number is closer to 23,000 cases per every million people. Taiwan has successfully contained the spread of COVID-19 and has drawn attention to its medical achievements. In light of these accomplishments, we have an exciting lineup today. Our first speaker is Liao. He is the former CEO of Genconn Biotech, which is a subsidiary of Foxconn Health Technology Business Group. He's going to talk about Taiwan healthcare system innovation to address the current challenge. The next speaker is Remi Lee. He is TCI Spokesman. He will discuss COVID-19 prevention solution with us. And the third speaker is Dr. YiYun Liao. He is retired PegaVision R&D VP. He will tell us a success story in medical device enterprise in Taiwan, from a startup to a leader in contact lens. Lastly, the speaker is Indy Liao. He is the senior counsel of Pontis Law. He will talk about an overview of life science regulatory regime in Taiwan. At the end, we will hold a Q&A session. Now, please give your full attention to Mr. Liao.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to share the screen, and hopefully you see the screen right now.
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, thank you very much, Irene, for the nice introduction. And also, Albin, nice to meet you here. It's truly an honor to be invited here at UC Berkeley. I hope everyone has been staying safe and healthy. Irene and me had worked together at Foxconn for 3 years, and she has been very supportive and professional to help us drive some key projects. In my presentation, I'll share with you 3 parts of the contents. And I know some of the content will be covered by other speakers as well with more details. So I'm going to talk about some of the Taiwan healthcare system and the response of Taiwanese public health system to COVID-19. And lastly, the precision medicine initiative that Taiwan is proceeding. So here's my list of experiences. Basically, I spent about 8 years in the United States with background of clinical laboratory science by training and practice at UC Irvine Medical Center for 4 years. And I went back to Asia in 1995 and started my commercial career in the healthcare industry. In the last 15 years, I was in general management and country head for various medical device companies, and also spent 3 years in China. I just left my previous assignment at Foxconn Healthcare Business Group, and in the process of opening a life science company where I'll be bridging the global resources and technology to the commercial entities in Asia. So this has been my long-lasting interest. So you're welcome to contact me after this in case this may fit in your pipeline or you have your own connection that shares the same vision. So I know most of the participants here have more or less the legal background. So before my presentation, there's a quick joke you have probably heard of. What's the difference between a good lawyer and a great lawyer? A good lawyer knows the law. A great lawyer knows the judge, okay? So here's the point I want to share is from good to great is all about knowing people and understand the strengths and weaknesses of people. So the leaders of organization is able to deploy the resources more effectively, and as a result, maximize the productivity. A leader with good strategies and vision is just halfway through the success. It takes good people management and development skills to really inspire the team. Okay, so here's Taiwan. It's strategically critical in terms of its geographical location in the West Pacific. In the 80s and 90s, Taiwan was always compared against the other three countries of regions, Korea, Hong Kong, and Singapore, as what we call the four little dragons. As you know, Korea has been doing quite well in the last 20 years. However, because of effective control of COVID pandemic, Taiwan is able to present better growth of GDP this year with a positive growth about 1.6%. Population-wise, we are close to 24 million. It's about the size of Australia, which is 25 million. In the healthcare system, we do have great ranking of healthcare index, which you'll be seeing in the next slide. GDP-wise, we're doing about 590 billion US dollars. We're sitting in between Sweden, which is 540 billion, and Switzerland's about 750 billion US dollars. Now, Taiwan is one of the few countries in the world that implements the national universal healthcare system administered by the state. It's a compulsory program that enrolls all citizens and legal residents. It's a single payer system, and the total premiums is about 4.7% of the insured's wages, and shared by employee about 30%, and 60% from the employer, and 10% from the government. The co-payment per visit is very low. It's about $3 to $5 US dollars only. The low household income families are exempted from the premium scheme, and the premium is covered by the government. The satisfaction level of this insurance package has been very high because it literally covers all general medical procedures and prescription drugs, except for devices or procedures that are elective based. Each year, the NHI submits the budget for the next fiscal year and then reviewed and approved by the legislative body of Taiwan. Up to end of 2017, the revenue from the NHI is approximately 20 billion US dollars. And I just checked the latest data this morning. In 2021, the budget is set at 26 billion US dollars. So the growth of each year's budget is anywhere between 3 to 5%. And the goal is to maintain a balance and not to be running in negative. And you can see over 93% of medical facilities and medical care providers are contract with NHI. So it's truly a universal coverage. Now, this is a study released by the CEO World, which is a magazine published every month, where it lists 89 countries each year to rank the healthcare system in terms of the infrastructure, cost, and government readiness. Then come up with the healthcare index ranking. In both 2019 and 2020, Taiwan has been ranked top on the list, followed by South Korea and Japan. Australia is ranked number 9, and United States is ranked at 30s. So again, the satisfaction level of the healthcare system in Taiwan has been quite well received. To give a clear picture of the system, here's the ID card of NHI in Taiwan. It's now like a second ID card for each Taiwan citizen to carry every day. The card comes with a chip that gives clinics and hospitals fair amount of information when you see doctors it shows on their computer screen. It shows last 6 visits record, including diagnosis and prescription drugs history and other information. This is very helpful to avoid excessive doctor visits and the laboratory testing if the patients have done such procedures just recently. It also lists the consent of the patients, whether they want to receive aggressive treatment procedures like resuscitation, or the willingness to donate organ in case they have accidents. Now, there's a unique characteristic of NHI program due to the fact it has accumulated more than 24 years of medical data for all population in Taiwan. The database contains a lot of information across the medical record, testing data, especially the medical images, X-ray, ultrasound, CT scans. This database becomes a great resource to conduct studies and various researches. Okay, so from the healthcare system, what we look at here is the most current COVID pandemic up to today's record, October 6th. Here's the latest statistic of case number in Taiwan up to the latest. For the time being, we have about 518 cases confirmed as of today, October 6th, and 7 deaths, which is a very minimal percentage of incidents, as Irene just presented. And we have almost all individuals that were infected now recovered, only a handful of patients still in admission. If you look at the map in Asia, Taiwan is well surrounded by hotspot countries like Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, or regions that have resurging cases after a few months of this pandemic. And some countries subsided, then the case gets increased all of a sudden. So Taiwan has been strictly controlling the pandemic very effectively. These are the 4 strategies that when it comes to battling the COVID since its outbreak in Wuhan, China. I'm sure one of the other speakers will talk more details. One thing I would like to highlight here is the timing for the response. Taiwan has set up the response team as early as January 2nd this year, after learning the mysterious pneumonia as early as December 2019. And then response team expanded to official organization called CECC, the Central Epidemic Command Center, in January 20th. This is by far the most important step that Taiwan was able to start implementing a lot of measures, including these 4 approaches: the early border control, case finding, containment, education, and resource allocation. The CECC is commended by the Minister of Health and Welfare, Dr. Chen, who was empowered to integrate the cross-division resources and start executing the restriction of travel and enforce mask wearing mandate in public facilities. For border control, there has been a series of policies based on the pandemic severity. It was beginning with control of incoming travelers from Wuhan, then it expanded to entire mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau. Eventually, all countries with pandemic. From April, the reporting requirement extends to those who had cold symptoms and loss of smelling sense and histories of travel. The contact tracing has started since January, where the incoming travelers with positive test results would need to release their close contact people's name and locations. Therefore, the tracking will be conducted by the local public health agencies. People who had contact history with positive case will be required to stay home for 14 days isolation without going outside. The local authorities will check their health status twice a day. If symptoms develop, they will be sent to hospitals for checkup and continue the isolation. To make the home isolation and quarantine 100% effective, a platform was developed by collaborating with the mobile carriers by using the cell phone tower location to position individuals that was under isolation. Technically, it's called the triangulation tracking. If the signal, the cell tower signal moves to another cell tower, the person will get an SMS text message. The civil affair officer, as well as local police officer, will also reach to the person. The violators will be fined as high as 33,000 US dollars or forcibly placed in a separate location for continuing isolation. Something I would like to bring up, this mandatory isolation policy is backed up by several measures to help people getting through these 14 days, including household services, meal delivery, garbage collection, transportation arrangement, medical care services, etc. Last logistics service was developed in the city and county level to ensure people are comfortable to be taken care of. One of the examples is the hotel that collaborate with the local agency to be the site for offering 14 days isolation for the individuals will receive financial subsidy from the government. Another measure that keeps each resident understand and updated on the most current pandemic and new policy is a daily press brief hosted by the CECC officers. In most cases, Dr. Chen, the head of Health and Welfare Affairs, takes the hosting role. This conference usually held daily at 1400 p.m. with real-time broadcasting to television, radio station, and major social media like Facebook and Twitter, and an online chatting group like Line. And in the TV and radio channel, every hour, there's a pre-recorded short video would pop up to educate the people the basics of preventing the transmission of COVID with various level of contents. In the beginning of the presentation, I had some introduction on the NHI system. The NHI card now plays a critical role when it comes to integration of medical record with a traveling history of each individual. So this information offers medical service providers easily access the traveling data with the medical condition. Therefore, more effective approach can be taken to address the patients. Under the authority of CECC, the government has mobilized 66 medical mask manufacturers to ramp up the production of surgical masks and other personnel protective equipment by providing financial subsidies and the manpower. Taiwan has become the #2 nation in the world that can produce up to 20 million surgical masks per day. 20 million. Originally, the capacity is about only 3 million. So it ramps up 8-fold in very short period of time. Now the surgical mask can not only fulfill the domestic use for Taiwan, but also are able to export to other countries to contribute to international communities. The wine companies, the wineries, were also mobilized to supply the public with the 75% alcohol and arrange for the alcohol to be sold at national health insurance contracted pharmacies, convenience stores, and supermarkets. Another system that CECC has come up with is a system to allocate a mask to every citizen through the purchase at pharmacies by using their national health insurance cards. Furthermore, an online ordering mechanism for a name-based rationing system has been set up for people who are unable to buy from the pharmacies. Members of the public can order masks online, pay by credit card, ATM transfer, and get a mask from convenience stores such as 7-Eleven or Family Marts. Due to the increased mask production, every citizen is able to purchase more masks now. From April 9th, adults are eligible for 9 masks and 10 child-sized face masks are allowed to children in every 14 days period of time. The price for the mask under the ration system is kept at standardized level to make sure they are affordable to the public. The current price is approximately 17 cents US dollar a piece. So $1.50 US dollar gives you a 9-mask package, which is a very easy access and availability to the general public. And we are very pleased to see some of the international friends recognizing our efforts to combat this unprecedented pandemic and successfully contain the spreading as of now. The United States has sent both Secretary of Health and Human Services, Alex Azar, and US Undersecretary of State, Mr. Crutch, to visit Taipei in September. We also had delegations from Czechoslovakia Republic, Senate President, and Mayor of Prague visit Taiwan in August. We're expecting more collaboration on the public health agenda with more countries around the world to safeguard the well-being of global citizens. Okay, that was the how we combat the COVID-19. In the last session, I'm going to just briefly cover some of the national level projects in the area of precision medicine or precision health in Taiwan. As you know, since the human genome was decoded in early 2000, many countries launched their own genomic profiling programs for building the baseline of their particular population. Currently in Taiwan, we have 2 projects undergoing. One is called a TPMI, the Taiwan Precision Medicine Initiative, that is conducted by Academia Sinica, the most premium research institution in Taiwan. They are collecting up to 1 million general population in Taiwan for profiling the genome mapping. The other project is run by National Health Research Institute, NHRI, focusing on cancer genome collected through 10,000 patient samples for creating cancer database. So there are 2 government-sponsored projects are running in parallel. The slide shows the goal for TPMI, where it focused more on the prevention perspective, just like what other countries in the world has been doing, like United States, all of us, like UK, like France and China. The initiative could also impact the local industry in healthcare, semiconductor, and all other ICT and AI industries. Now in the United States, there has been a lot of B2C services on genetic testing, and many companies have made a fortune. But without reliable big data analytics, this genetic information may not be significant, especially for those applied to predicting the health risk. I think many of the test results are under debate whether they are truly useful, and they are closely associated with the regulatory perspective as what to approve and what not to approve, and what types of criteria need to be considered. If there's time, we can certainly have more discussion on this. When it comes to TPMI, there are 2 objectives of this project. From participants' perspective, the genomic profile provides certain information on their pharmacogenetics picture, so each individual will obtain their own report on their response to certain therapeutics, drugs, that is proven to be associated with the genetic information. This can become their record in the future when they are subject to medical treatment, as we define as the individualized medicine. The other arm of the study is to come up with a mapping for Taiwanese population to set up the relationship between the genetic profile versus the diseases. For the time being, we now have some understandings on some cardiomyopathy are probably associated with some of the genetic variants. So this knowledge can be accumulated through this large-scale screening for collecting the data. And of course, for regulatory consideration, all these studies have to comply with the relevant regulation and subject to de-identification process, encryption, and of course, written consent from the participants. Well, this is the one freshly baked example of the recent event on President Trump's contraction on COVID. Dr. Sean Conley, his president's physician, said during Monday's press conference, in response to the question about what CT scan of Trump's lungs revealed from the chasing media, he said, there are HIPAA rules and regulation that restrict me in sharing certain things for his safety and his own health and reasons. In this case, he can only release the detailed information with the authorization from the President Trump. Okay, so I think that pretty much concludes my presentation. And the last slide I want to show you is that Taiwan can help. It's a slogan, and Taiwan is helping to combat the pandemic of COVID. A joke again, what do you call a lawyer who doesn't know the law? The answer is the judge. Okay. And last slide is my contact information in case you need more on opportunity in Taiwan and willing to contact me. My new company basically will focus on networking and technology in the United States or European market, and identifying their opportunities in Asian market for capital investment, commercialization, and distribution. You're welcome to shoot me emails. With this, I'll conclude my presentation for today, and thank you for your attention.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for sharing. I have a question for you. You indicated the COVID-19 actions taken in Taiwan for border control and effective surveillance programs and many others. What are the legal perspectives for making this happen?
Okay, there's several. Okay, for that question, I want to take two articles from the current legal provision now adopted in Taiwan as example. In the Communicable Disease Control Act, which was passed in 1998, has delegated tremendous power to the public health authorities to enforce the law. This is very critical because in one of the Article 26, it says, the central authority should formulate procedures for reporting communicable diseases, methods of investigation, and establish systems for surveillance, warning, and disease control resources for epidemic control conditions of communicable diseases. In other words, the regulation has empowered the central authorities to conduct surveillance programs with great amount of freedom. In January 23rd, this year, Dr. Chen, the Minister of Health and Welfare, served as a commander of the Central Epidemic Command Center, CECC, as I mentioned in the presentation, to coordinate and mobilize the resource from a cross-ministry perspective. And the CECC is also backed up by the group of medical specialists with strong infectious disease expertise to help fine-tune the policies and actions. So I believe the operation structure is critical when it comes to address the pandemic at such great scale, because you cannot afford to have dividing opinions from too many voices. The other unique thing is Taiwan has an organization called Center for Disease Control also in 1998. The government consolidated the specialists in infection control and really invested resources to focus on this area. This is not seen in other parts of Asia, not even Japan and Korea. Therefore, they are fully empowered to take the commanding position. Another legal consideration is whether there's concerns on privacy invasion because the wide utilization of surveillance programs. The fact is that current measures do not constitute invasions of privacy based on the Communicable Disease Control Act and Article 16 of the Personal Data Protection Act, which allows the reasonable use and restriction of personal information in times such as epidemics. A government agency shall use personal data with the necessary scope of its statutory duties and for the specific purpose of a collection. So the Communicable Disease Control Act, the agency of Center for Disease Control, the Personal Data Protection Act are three critical legal elements to be the foundation for Taiwan government to mobilize the resources addressing the COVID. Of course, the experience we had back in 2003 when SARS hit Taiwan was able to bring out tremendous level of awareness. Therefore, all residents become very vigilant and compliant to the policies like mandatory mask wearing at all public venues and personal hygiene practice, etc. So that's the answer for your question.
Yes, thank you for your wonderful presentation. Our next speaker is TCI Spokesman Remi Lee. Please welcome Remi.
Hi everyone. This is Remi Lee. Actually, I've been working for TCI for more than 5 years, but I'm going to skip all my background and what I've done so far. So if you're still interested in myself, just go check my LinkedIn. But allow me to briefly just introduce my position in TCI. I've been through the position of the chief legal officer and the chief regulatory officer and the chief talent officer, chief sustainability officer, and the spokesman for TCI. But currently, I'm taking the position of the spokesman and taking care of the some of the M&A cases worldwide. So my topic today is the how TCI quickly to respond to the COVID-19, especially in Taiwan. But first of all, I'm going to briefly introduce TCI first, because some of you probably are very not familiar with the Taiwanese-based company. But TCI founded in 1980, and we just listed in 2013. And so far, our market cap is around $1 billion US dollars, and the revenue for 2019 was so close to 10 billion NT dollars. So TCI is a leading nutraceutical contract manufacturer based in Taiwan, and we have more than 400 clients and from 55 countries. So for those who are not so familiar with us, it's all because some of the investors call TCI a magician, behind the curtain. The why of that is that because you probably, some of you or most of the female probably use our own product, the skincare product or the supplement in United States or in Asia. So, but I'm gonna share with you that, apologize, I haven't shared with my my PowerPoint. Just give me a second. Allow me a second. Right. All right. So TCI is not a pure OEM companies to only manufacturing the dietary supplement and the skincare related product, but TCI is the one to making our own proprietary raw material, and we are doing our own formulation for our B2B clients. And we do the stability and safety assessment, and together with the intellectual property. So currently for all of our patent commodity, worldwide, we do have more than 800 cases, including more than 300 to be registered worldwide and more than 500 pending patent cases. So I'm gonna skip this part and go through the next part. So from 2005, TCI offers the best and the faster services to our partners and our branding clients. So now we already established 11 offices in 11 cities across the globe, including the Salt Lake City sales office in United States. So besides Taipei, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, Chengdu, Japan, and USA, we established our office in Jakarta and Wuhan and Rotterdam in a row for last year. So as I mentioned just earlier, that we have an sales office in Wuhan. So in the middle of the December 2019, And we were highly suspicious that the virus in Wuhan is so much alike, the SARS virus in 2003. So by that time, we were already planning to prepare the virus detection system and the virus detection machine by that time. But allow me to pinpoint that the virus detection system that I'm going to introduce today is not something new or something, new concept to TCI, because TCI's subsidiary called TCI Gene, we already developed the automated detection system, for the genetic testing, back to 7 years ago. So for the subject matter, the COVID-19 virus detection machine that I'm going to introduce, which is the QVS 96S, is the third generation one. So I'm going to introduce the mechanism of this special COVID-19 virus detection machine. The real-time PCR currently is used for COVID-19 detection with the very highest accuracy, like more than 99%. But the QVS can operate for 24/7. By which nearly 2016 specimens can be tested per day. So it's so equal to the number of the tests performed by the 10 medical units per day in Taiwan, roughly. So the adoption of one QVS 96 will speed the rate of testing up to, we'll say, 7-fold. So the QVS 96 has 3 major features. The first one, the global applicability, high capacity, and the full automation. So the operation of these steps are fully automated to avoid excessive time and the manpower consumption that may occur in the very traditional PCR process, while maintaining the high accuracy. So we still believe that the accuracy is the key to fight against the anti-pandemic battle and maintain the economic stability. So proudly to announce that on July 23rd, the National Taiwan University College of Medicine has published in Nature Biotechnologies an article about the QVS 96, which is the very world's first fully automated detection integration system developed by TCI Gene. I'm gonna explain and introduce the whole mechanism into 3 steps later on to you. So it is the very first time for a biotech company, in virus testing, to be introduced in this so prominent academic journal, covering the science and the business of the biotechnology, that only published the very highly influential articles. So you can see that we already, received the certification, from the Taiwanese FDA, in the July. Together with this machine was listed in the US FDA, and now currently we are going through the CE certification, and we anticipate to receive the approval from CE by October. So allow me to introduce this machine to you. So the device is mainly divided into 3 stations. So the first station is the automated nucleic acid extraction station. So all the operation in this station are completed by robotic arms. So from the very start, when we collect the specimen tube, the robotic arm can move to the cover and automatically open the cover of the bottle, of the tube. So before opening the cover, the robotic arm will scan a barcode, and the barcode on each specimen tube to ensure there are no confusion of the specimens. So after opening the bottle, the robotic arm will be connected to the dispenser to dispense specimens. So the specimens will be dispensed to the sample plate. So after dispensing all the specimens, the robotic arm will transfer the sample plate to the automated nucleic acid extractors. So by using the automated nucleic acid extractors, 96 specimens can be extracted every about 40 to 45 minutes. So you can see, compare with the human operation, by which only 30 specimens can be tested in a lab per day. But with this special device, the efficiency of the automatic extraction of nucleic acid can be greatly increased. So for the next page, so what about after the nucleic acid are automatically extracted? So the robotic arm will transfer the extracted specimens to the second section, which is the reagent distribution station through the conveyor. So in the whole process of the nucleic acid extractions, the worst is the cross contamination. So HEPA filters, so also the high level HEPA filters are installed in this device to avoid the contamination of the specimens. So right after the sample plate is transferred to the second station, the whole reagent distribution process will be completed by another robotic arms. So all the movement of the robotic arm are designed by TCI based on our technology and our years of experience in genetic testing, like I mentioned before. So the operation by this robotic arm are not only faster, but it can greatly reduce the human error, caused by the human operations. So generally, in a lab, the distribution of the reagent is done by human labor, which requires a lot of the connection and is very, very exhausting. So right after the reagent are distributed, the robotic arm will transfer the sample plate to the centrifuge for centrifugal separation. So the centrifugal separation is conducted to make the reagent can completely fall down, to the bottom of the tube, and to ensure the normal reaction can happen. So right after the reagent distribution is completed, the robotic arm will transfer it to the conveyor, which will transfer it to the very third station, which is the fluorescence analysis station. So by using these real-time fluorescence spectrometers, specimens of 190 subjects can be analyzed within about 50 to 55 minutes. So right after all the analysis, the data will be exported to an external computer, and the data will be linked to the barcode scan in the very first station, like I mentioned before, to avoid the error that may be caused by the human operation. So also, this software can automatically analyze the test result. So in conclusion, the whole testing process, including the nucleic acid extraction, reagent distribution, dispensing, the fluorescence detection, and software analysis, they all can be performed fully automatically, without any human interventions, so that the 24/7 operation can be fully achieved. So because time is so limited, so I would like to share with you that in the very beginning, this machine was so applied to all the employees, in TCI in Taiwan and worldwide. So in TCI, we have more than 700 employees, in Taipei and in the very southeast part of Taiwan, which is Pingdong, where all of our 4 of our facility located. So we're using this machine to making the detection of the COVID-19 to ensure that all the operation and the management can go through pretty well. So our ultimate goal from this machine is to provide the global population movement, the total solution for the population movement. So according to the statistics, the numbers of the passenger by air traffic is up to 3 billion per on 2019. So back to this machine, we've been registered with the US FDA as well as some other countries that recognize FDA certification, as well as the Taiwanese FDA. So following the publication of the article of the detection system on Nature Biotechnology journal, like I mentioned before, the report has been launched, on the official US FDA website. So which witnessing, Taiwan's very significant accomplishment in epidemic prevention technology. So it is expected that the full automated detection integration system, which can enable the high speed and the high accuracy testing, can be installed in some major airports, around the world for the on-site test, to support the epidemic prevention and help, to restore the global economies. So currently, because I'm so joined the team of the QVS 96. So some of the ASEAN countries, they're very interested in this machine. So we believe, and we strongly recommend the international airports, they can apply the QVS 96 to offer the passenger the very rapid and highly accurate on-site PCR test. So in combination, with the use of the health passport app, which designed by TCI, which we are so sure that the high traffic and the prosperity can return very, very, very soon. So if you have any further question, and welcome you to raise it later on during the discussion. And thank you for your attention and the time.
Yeah, thank you, Remi. Right now, I have a question I would like to ask you. How has Taiwan dramatically ramping up its testing capacity over the past few months?
Oh, well, the testing capacity, in the very, very beginning, just right after the outbreak of the COVID-19, can only be 300 tests per day. It can be 300 per day. But with more and more hospitals and the qualified medical lab starting to conduct the test, the capacity has expanded to the maximum of 3,000 by March, I believe. But however, generally, a clinical lab staff member can only handle, we believe, 30 to 40 tests per day. So to achieve the maximum testing capacity, the lab staff, they have to work overtime. So which is easy to cause the fatigue and to slow the action, and the human errors would occur. So cross-contamination of the specimen can happen. So while TCI has we in Taiwan, we have confirmed that no new local cases of COVID-19 for such a long time. But the possibility of the community infection cannot be excluded. So when community infection really occurs, the manpower for viral testing won't be so sufficient. So, to solve this issue, we still believe, the fully automated qPCR based testing process, via QVS, they can just achieve the high accuracy and the rapid test process at the same time. And also, this machine already transferred to Taiwanese CDC, by April.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your comprehensive explanation. Let's welcome our next speaker, Dr. Eugene Lai. Hi, Dr. Lai.
Okay.
Yeah. Remi, could you please stop sharing screen so Dr. Lai could, yeah, thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. First, I had to say appreciation to Irene for inviting me to as a speaker for this webinar. Today, I'd like to share with you a success story in medical device enterprise in Taiwan, from a startup to a leader in containment, that is PegaVision. First, let me introduce myself. I got a PhD degree in chemistry from University of Florida. I had 23 years of successful R&D career, from a senior scientist to distinguished research fellow with Bausch & Lomb, the pioneer in soft containment business. I was inventor, co-inventor of the first case-molded toric lens, which is for correction of astigmatism, which is called soft lens 6 toric, and the first silicone hydrogel lens, which is pure vision. I had 10 years as vice president of materials R&D for PegaVision, responsible for product R&D and establishing the company business in contact lens. I was granted 90 US patents, mostly in contact lens area. I won American Chemical Society's award in industrial innovation in 2004. PegaVision was founded in September 2009 as a joint venture of Pegatron and the Counsel Corporation. It's headquartered in Taoyuan, Taiwan, with overseas office in Tokyo and Shanghai. It has over 1,400 employees. The company became profitable in 3 years after formed. In fact, it went to a successful IPO on October 6, 2019. Today is exactly 1 year anniversary for their IPO. Its stock is listed in Taiwan Stock Exchange. Last year revenue was about $112 million. When talk about contact lens, people know it's for vision correction. Actually, its function is more than that. First, for vision correction, first one is for correction of refractive error, which is called spherical contact lens. Then later, the business was moved on to correction of for presbyopia, which is called multifocal lens, and for correction of astigmatism, which is called toric lens. Since 1980, business in contact lens was shift with application in beauty, such as for cosmetics, such as cosmetic is the change of color of iris, and limbal enlargement of iris. Most contact lens companies also working on specialty lenses for drug delivery of a smart lens for electronic application. However, application in this area is not successful. In terms of material, contact lens can be classified as hard lens and soft lens. Hard lens, actually, the first hard lens based on acrylics, which was invented almost 100 years ago. Since 1980, more oxygen-permeable lens has been developed based on silicone, which is called rigid gas permeable. On the soft lens side, originally it was HEMA-based. Since 2000, silicone hydrogel, which deliver more oxygen, was commercialized. Worldwide, soft contact lens revenue was about 8.9 billion US dollar in 2019. It grew 5% from 2018. The market is dominated by 4 major players: Johnson & Johnson, Alcon, which was part of Novartis based in Switzerland, CooperVision, and Bausch & Lomb, with a combined share of 90%. Minor players, all growing fast over the last decade, only contributed to about 10% of share. Among them, Taiwanese has the majority of that, which almost 7% of worldwide content revenue. There are many challenges for Taiwanese contact lens manufacturers. First, contact lens is Class 3 medical device. It requires a regulatory approval to get into a market. This needs strong financial and human resources, and is very time-consuming. The 4 key players have ample resources, strong marketing power, established product recognition, and they make their own product. Over the last decade, the market has been shifting to high oxygen permeable silicone hydrogel lenses, which is almost dominated by the same 4 key players. So the older traditional soft lens have stopped growing since 2016, and their price keeps dropping. So it's very, very difficult for a new Taiwanese contact lens manufacturer to get into the contact lens business and become profitable. Regarding challenges, there is one company, which is PegaVision, is successful over the last 10 years as a new company to get into contact lens business. Before PegaVision was established, there are 10 Taiwanese companies claimed in contact lens manufacturing. However, until now, only 5 are publicly known for their revenues, and PegaVision showed consistent revenue growth annually. Now it's number 3 in revenue, just behind Shenzhen and Genconn. Those 2 companies are 35 years old in contact lens business. The top 3 companies are in stock exchanges, but however, only PegaVision is listed in the more prestigious Taiwan Stock Exchange. And PegaVision has the highest price-earning ratio in its stock among the 3. In fact, as of today, PegaVision has the largest market cap among all contact lens companies in Taiwan. Even under the influence of COVID-19, among 4 key players in the world and the top 3 in Taiwan, PegaVision is the only one showed revenue growth during the first half of 2020. So why PegaVision is successful? Well, there are many reasons for PegaVision's success. The reasons are unique among Taiwanese companies. That's why I call unique reasons. 1 is strong support from parent companies. 2, having content experts on board during the first year. 3, smart lens development strategy set during the first year. 4, unique business model in the contact lens industry. 5, strong R&D team programs. 6, excellent core image. 7, strong manufacturing team. And 8, very good timing. Pegatron and Counsel are 2 parent companies for PegaVision. They provided sufficient funding when PegaVision was formed. This allowed PegaVision to grow without financial difficulties until it became profitable. And Pegatron provided space with unlimited expansion opportunities, allowing manufacturing capacity to grow from 500,000 to over 40 million pieces of lens per month. And both of them provide technical and financial support as needed. The second reason for PegaVision's success is having contact experts on board during the first year and stay on board for 10 years. However, both of them retired early this year. When PegaVision was formed, only process and equipment engineers were on board. There's no material scientist or optic design expert. Mr. Colin Scudder, an expert in optic design, have over 40 years experience working for multiple contact lens companies. Joined the PegaVision 6 months after it was formed. He was responsible for all lens designs. Myself, I'm an expert in contact lens materials process, and product innovation and intellectual property. I joined the company 9 months after the company formed. I was responsible for establishing formulation and process for the company first and second lens products, establishing cosmetic lens technology, and developing high-performance silicone hydrogel lenses. The first product came out is called etafilca. Etafilca is 58% water. The second lens product, Polymeca, 38% water. So without Ms. Scott and myself on board, Pegawin could not be very successful because they don't have experience in materials and lens design. So Pegawin has smart lens product development strategy set during the first year. The Pegawin company chose to develop etafilca as its first contact lens product. This is the same lens as the J&J Johnson & Johnson sell in the market. This is #1 brand daily disposable lens. So the company was able to start selling this lens January 2016, only 16 months after it was formed, to an European customer. And in the same year, April that year, to Chinese customers. The company started to develop cosmetic lens or cut lens for beauty based on etafilca in August 2010. That's 1 month after joining the company, and was able to sell its first cosmetic lens product during the Valentine weekend in 2012. Since that time, Pegawin's revenue started to grow rapidly and became profitable in July of 2012 and profitable for the whole year. So which is only 3 years after the company formed. This is a record in contact industry. So if not choosing etafilca and not starting to develop cosmetic lens during the first year, Pegawin cannot become profitable in 3 years and cannot be successful as a company. What's reason was Pegawin's success is unique business model in contact industry by direct sale to consumer in Taiwan. Taiwan is a mature contact lens market. The market was dominated by 4 key players plus Genconn Optics before Pegawin was formed. Due to limited capacity at the beginning, it was impossible for Pegawin to make money if company had chosen as a private label producer instead of a brand name producer. Even with this system, the market director at that time persuaded the board directors to sell lens direct to consumer through unique Pegawin store. How that works? Well, Pegawin set up the flagship Pegawin store at Taipei MRT at main station to sell only Pegawin's product. If consumer buys 1 monthly supply at full price, the consumer will become a member and enjoy membership by having discount at half price when they buy contact for next month. The company opened more stores as manufacturing capacity increased and the business further developed. Members can AP order lenses and pick up lenses up at their neighboring 7-Eleven store or at home. So the advantage of this direct selling is company can trace daily sale and company can get first customer feedback. This helps company to further improving its product and business practice. The company can grow faster, get reputation attack quicker. So without opening Pegawin store, Pegawin cannot grow and become profit in 3 years. In fact, after 3 years, Pegawin opened the store. It became #2 in market share in Taiwan, and also #1 in color lens in Taiwan. The sixth reason for Pegawin's success is Pegawin has strong R&D team. 20% of employees are technical in nature, including 9 PhD in science engineer with background in chemistry, chemical engineering, material science, optics, and biomedical engineering. And Pegawin has unique materials and R&D and optic design groups led by experts devote their full time on develop new lens material, new coating, novel lens design with the goal to make Pegavision very competitive against the four major competitors. This is unique among Taiwanese contact manufacturing. It makes Pegavision known as a technology leader in contact lens industry. In addition to work on traditional hydrogel lens based on etaphiocom, polymercom, Pegavision also devoted a lot of time to develop silicone hydrogels lens. Most recently, we developed a highly moisturizing, highly liberation surface modified silicone hydrogel lens to compete the best silicone hydrogel lens offered by competitors. In fact, Pegavision has completed the development of a lens called Tophiocom B lens. It is in regulatory process for approval in Europe and Japan. As I mentioned earlier, silicone lens, since introduced 2010, it grew very fast. Now it accounts for 60% of contact lens sales. Last year, revenue was about $5.2 billion. Among all silicone hydrogel offered by major company and sometimes company, there are about 12 of them. Based on their clinical performance and consumer satisfaction, I can classify them into 3 tiers. Tier 1 products, the lens surface has excellent lubricity and moisturizing. There are 3 of them. One from Johnson & Johnson is Active Oasis, one from CooperVision is Biofinity, one from Alcon is Dailies Total One. Combined, those 3 products account for over $3 billion in sales last year, which is about 60% of revenue of silicone hydrogel sold last year in the worldwide market. The Pegavision soft lens developed Tophiocom B has the same level of surface weighting and lubricity as Tier 1 lens product. So once Pegavision introduced to the market, I'm sure they can sell very well. Sixth reason is Pegavision's success, so excellent corporate image attract to customers. One is the reputation of parent and strong R&D, impressive intellectual property portfolio. And also Pegavision also actively participate in international conferences, such as attending a leading international contact lens conference exhibition sponsored by British Contact Association. British Contact Lens is actually the most important contact lens conference in the world. And Pegavision also has quality system matching US standard through recommendation by a FDA retired consultant and collaboration with a major US-based medical device company, which was Johnson & Johnson. So the above unique nature or culture of Pegavision made it look like an American company and a very attractive US, Japan, European customer for business collaborations. No other contact lens manufacturer in Taiwan had this kind of character or genes to compete. Here I list some of, excuse me. Pegavision is actually pursuing protection of intellectual properties. It seeks patent protection in key markets in the area of lens materials, processing, specialty lenses, packaging solutions, and lens designs. And the number of patents Pegavision got each was very impressive, especially the patent issued in Taiwan, US, Japan, Europe, and China. Those are 5 key market areas Pegavision try to concentrate. 7, Pegavision has strong manufacturing team. Manufacturing equipment Pegavision were all designed in-house, and the manufacturing of lens is very highly automatic. The automation area including mold casting, lens curing, hydration, packaging, and optical inspection. Automation makes Pegavision with high gross margin in lens manufacturing. They are the best among 10 Taiwanese contact lens manufacturers. Last unique reason for Pegavision's success is very good timing. when hiring experts when they were available. And Asian consumers, especially Japan, are in love of cosmetic lenses. It's providing opportunity for Pekavin to grab. And another reason is external. Bausch + Lomb has lost its own market share in Taiwan since 2008, from 40% down to 10% due to its own problems, which allow Pekavin to pick up Bausch + Lomb share in Taiwan, and which makes Pekavin successful in Taiwan. So time is critical for success. In conclusion, Pekavin succeeded as a medical device company in a very short 10 years. Its success was due to many unique reasons not inherited by other contact companies in Taiwan. Due to the nature of conservative needs in contact lens business, Pekavin is expected to remain successful in Taiwan in the world and able to be caught up by other current or new Taiwanese contact lens manufacturers. There is no guarantee, of course, for future success. So as I mentioned, Pekavin is successful because of unique reasons, and Pekavin itself tries to be unique as well. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Dr. Lai. May I ask you, as an accomplished scientist in both the US and Taiwan, what are some key differences you have seen in the R&D process in these two countries?
Well, in the US, Bausch + Lomb I work for as example, we have a development group and a long-term research group. And long-term research is that if people, for example, scientists like me can do explore research on new contact lens materials and target for contact lens application. But development group, they just emphasize on product modification. In Taiwan, actually, for a company to get into the business like medical device, like contact lens, first you had to grab, to copy or duplicate a product made by US company which are out of patent, and you get into that area. And so it can become successful, like Pekavin can introduce product in 1.5 years. And of course, Pekavin also try to work on silicone hydrogel, which is more long-term process, but as you know, it's very difficult. So in Taiwanese company emphasize more on short-term product development, and US company work on short-term and long-term.
Thank you for sharing your esteemed expertise and experience in corporate success. Our final speaker is Indy Liao. Please give the floor to Mr. Liao.
Thank you, Irene. Let me share my screen first. Let's see. So, let's see. Share screen. Okay. There you go. So, Irene, can you see my screen now?
Not really. Could you try again?
Okay. Go ahead. Is it okay
Yes.
now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so thank you for having me today. It's a great honor to join this conference through the video conference. So my name is Indy Liu, Liu Hanxi. I'm a lawyer in Taiwan, and I practice this corporate and commercial law for more than a decade. And the focus of my practice on the food and drug law, health law, medical law, and data protection area. And I have a both background for the public health and the legal and practice law in Taiwan. So I know I'm the last presenter, so I would like to leave more time for our Q&A section. So I promise I will do my presentation quick and more concise. And here's my agenda today. So first I will introduce about Taiwan regulatory regime, and I will provide two cases to for more details. And I'll share my view about the challenge for the innovations in terms of the biotechnology industry in Taiwan. And I also will provide my conclusion, and then we can have the Q&A later. So first, for those people not familiar with Taiwan, we are an island country with 23 million population. So as you can see, we have the local government. We have the 20 local city and the counties government. And of course, each government will have this department health as a local label. And we also have this, on top of this local government, we have a central government. And more relevant to this biotech technology is the two department, Ministry of the Economic Affairs, MOEA, and the Ministry of the Health and Welfare. And each is ministry will have certain several agency under it related to its biotech technology. So I will discuss this. We can discuss later. And in terms of the law and the regulation, you will see the MOEA. Each department will have this. You will have this main, I would say, administrative regulations to this industry. So for the MOEA, we will see it's like an act for the development of biotech and the new pharmaceutical industry. The law basically provides incentive to the industry. And for this MOHW, this Department Ministry of the Health and Welfare, is the Department of Medical Affairs. It will have this Medical Care Act, for the Physician Act, and the Pharmacist Act. And for FDA, Taiwan FDA, it will handle this Pharmaceutical Affairs Act and the Food Safety and the Sanitation Act, and so on. So I will talk about this Medical Device Act later. So but just I just want to use these two slides to have everyone has a general idea about our government agency and what's the main law and regulation to handle this industry business activity. So first, I want to give you one case about this Apple Watch. I know some of the audience are from the Berkeley, so Apple is your neighbor, right? And Apple just launched its, I think, Series 6 Apple Watch, the new generation. And the most cool things, the features for this Apple Watch Series 6, I think it is one is blood oxygen. This app can just detect your blood oxygen, which is very important during this COVID-19 pandemic, because this your blood oxygen is one of the very critical indication for your health in terms of this disease. But unfortunately, this app cannot be used in Taiwan. Even you buy this new Apple Watch from store in Taiwan, because it didn't get Taiwan FDA approval yet. So Apple cannot just open this function, this app, to the user of the Apple Watch. And also, even for the previous generation Apple Watch, it's famous for this like ECG. It can detect your cardiograms, electronic cardiogram signal. It was also not approval and prohibited, allowed it to be used in Taiwan until just roughly 1.5 months ago. Apple finally get the Taiwan FDA approval for this Apple ECG application, this app on this Apple Watch. So right now, users in Taiwan can have this function. Can use this health app on their watch. We don't really know why Apple filed this application for FDA approval, because it's a Class 2 medical device in Taiwan. So you need to get approval. We don't know. We don't really know why Apple filed this so late and to get this approval so late. Well, but according to the news, the Taiwan FDA is still reviewing for this blood oxygen function, this app. So this app, this health app itself is a medical device. The software itself is a medical device. So Apple Watch is okay to be sold in Taiwan and to the consumer, even online, but cannot. This health app cannot be downloaded and be used before they get a Taiwan FDA approval. So there will be, our guess is there's a several related issue about getting the approval or not, because there's this health app for the blood oxygen or like ECG. So you need to be a qualified seller in order to sell this app, this function. And whether you can do this online sale, it depends on whether you get approval, and whether even you and how you can do this advertisement is related to whether you get approval, you get this license as a medical device. If you don't get the license, you cannot sell, you cannot put the advertisement for this app, this function on the media. And Taiwan has unlike America, Taiwan has very restrict regulation for this medical device advertisement. If it's a class 3 medical device, you can only, your advertisement has to be sent for review, prior review, and to get a prior approval by the Department of Health. And you can, and if it's a class 3 medical device, you can only publish your advertisement for the professional, to the doctors, and in the professional forum, like the academic journal. You can put it on like a TV commercial to a general public if it's a class 3 medical device. So we guess it's because there's so many regulations. So Apple need time to prepare to get to file this application to get the approval. So just like one example, because of the current regulation in Taiwan, it's relatively strict than United States in some jurisdiction. So consumer here cannot just to enjoy this function as like people in other jurisdiction. So like one of my friends, he went to Hong Kong to get this Apple Watch in order to enjoy this function earlier. And people can do that if they can go abroad, like Japan, Hong Kong, US, to buy an Apple Watch in order to have this ECG and the blood oxygen app earlier. So that's just one example. And the other example I would like to share is about telemedicine. It's a story from one of my friends. He's a doctor, and he went to the United States to pursue his MBA degree. So because he's a doctor, he has a lot of doctor friends. And because he was abroad in the United States, so he knew people there may want to have this medical consultation from people from Taiwan who can like speak Mandarin Chinese and have more affordable price. We all know that doctor visit and healthcare in United States is very expensive. So if some people living in the United States, they would like to have a medical consultation with a doctor in Taiwan with more affordable price and with using Chinese to communication. There's a market there. So this doctor just create this service and this platform to match for doctor in Taiwan who would like to have extra income by providing this service, and the patients in United States or in other countries around the world who want to reach this doctor and to have their consultation. So that's his website and his service. But according to the Physician Act, Article 11, doctor has to see his patient in person directly in order to give the diagnosis and give the prescription and the treatment. So it's a video consultation is not considered as a direct treatment and a direct diagnosis. So it's not allowed unless it's extremely situation, like a very emergency situation or like it's in a remote area. So that doctor get this letter from the Department of Health, local Department of Health, saying like, how come you can do that? It's illegal. Please stop. And because it's later, this doctor cannot recruit more doctor to join his platform, his service, his company to do this service, because they all aware this situation. They worry about to get a fine or even discipline from the Department of Health. So that's the kind of end of this idea, this innovation and this startup. But interesting thing is like about like 1 week or 2 weeks ago, there's this service in Taiwan and from the news. It called like a health good friend. It's also provide online medical consultation. You can see it's the app, so you can just register as a member and to place a number to provide your. You can provide your upload your photo of your disease or your injury or your part, and you can just leave a message, and you can just like Uber, like you press and file a request, and the system will match you with any doctor is available right now. And after that, you will see you can have the video conference with the doctor to discuss your disease and your illness, your situation. And after that, the doctor will provide his advice to you. You will see his message. And you can even like give him a review, 5-star review for good or bad service. So how come this now is allowed it to provide service in Taiwan? I guess one of the reasons because this service, this service is the government is behind the service. Like is in their video, they show this it's a Department of Health and Welfare and Taiwan Society of Emergency Medicine is a institution and agency behind this app, this service. So they want to provide this service during this pandemic and during this situation. So it's kind of like government. You can say that government is behind this service in this app, this new startup or this new service. So I just want to give this like a 2 example to show you like challenges for the innovations in Taiwan. My personal insight or perspective for this kind of obstacle or challenges, like Taiwan still use this more like German and Japanese civil law system and style and the civil law system, unlike the United States. So we will codify every rule and every laws as like a big book. So we have codification. So our mindset is like unless laws allow you to do so, it is presumably not allowed to do certain kind of new business and new activity. So the other system could may see like unless law prohibit you to do so, it is presumably allowed it to do like a new commercial activity and innovation. But here is more like a conservative way to see things. Unless law clearly saying that it is allowed it to do so, or you cannot do that. This is one possible reason for that. And the other is about Taiwan, the policy making process in Taiwan. So for domestically, it's more like a top-down rather than bottom-up. You will see our government will have this kind of central committee to decide our government policy for the upcoming years. So if it's a government support policy, and it's more easy to do so. But it's not like a bottom-up, like a civil society, a private company, industry. They promote some new idea and it can become like a state policy. The other thing is that we are more like a follower rather than a trail blazer. So our government agency will look into how US or how EU handle this issue and have and want to copy their models. So they will wait until like US or EU have this regime or model to handle this new issue, this new like a Uber or like a Airbnb, this new business model. Then we will decide we just follow US model to do that. So it's internationally we are more like a follower rather than a trailblazer. And also in the people's expectation to government or the health officer might say, I would say we are more like a paternalisms. So people sometimes they think they kind of shift. I would say like they look at government officials as their shepherd. So if they get harm or like injury or get suffer from some new innovative business model, they will blame government didn't regulate it properly, didn't prohibit it at the very beginning. And government official will also say, oh, this is my responsibility to protect our people. So we have to stop every risky activity in the beginning rather than just allow it to run a while and to see whether it's good or not. So this kind of like a people's expectation or like a officers' mindset will kind of create more challenge to innovations. So my conclusion will be current COVID-19 pandemic is a disaster, but it's also an opportunity for all the challenge, because this pandemic make people and government officials to rethink the current regulation maybe is not good enough to solve the problem. So we give a lot of like a leeway and space for new technology and a new model, new business model, or new things. So we will review our current law and to see anything we should change. So it's an opportunity. So more laws and regulations are introduced and enforced, including like the Medical Device Act, which has been passed but haven't been enforced so far. Because although the Medical Affairs Act, it regulates both the pharmaceuticals, the drug, and the medical device in the same law. So they treat the medical device like the drug. It creates some issue like the Apple Watch, this health app I mentioned. They treat it more like a health app developer, like a drug manufacturer. So they created a lot of issue for that. So the government has aware about that. So and they passed a new law to handle this issue. So more new laws and regulations are introduced and enforced, which we can expect. And the multidisciplinary teamwork is getting popular and important. So if you allow me to just like to introduce my team in my law firm. So here is a photo took in one of our clients' office, which is a manufacturer and a seller for this surgical robotic surgical device. And the male on the left, Dr. Brian Zhang, he is a pediatrician, is also as well as a lawyer. And the female in the middle, Nina Zhou, she worked for the Taiwan FDA for more than 6 years. And so we kind of team up, and we all have the different background. So we combine the doctor, the government official, and the lawyer, and to create a critical thinking and innovative solution to our client. Try to help them to go through all these obstacles and challenges in Taiwan. So far, I think we make several good cases and to help our client to solve their problem, even under this very complicated and even sometimes difficulty regulation. We still help them to find a path to get their goal. So thank you for your listening. I'm welcome for your question and discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your great speech. I have a question for you.
Sure.
You just mentioned several legal challenges in Taiwan biotech innovation.
Mm-hmm.
You are a lawyer. I'm curious about the role of lawyer in Taiwan for the challenge and tackles, because America is a country full of lawyers in every aspect, and they will push the issue from every possible directions, litigations, legislations, and lobby, and so on. That's why I want to know whether lawyers in Taiwan could do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. And I will say the role of a lawyer in Taiwan is getting a paradigm shift right now. I will say that. It's not only because our current president, Tsai Ing-wen, she's a lawyer, and our premier, Mr. Su Zhenchang, he's a lawyer too. And more lawyers getting into more important position. But also, I think the new generation of lawyers, they are not only to not just practice law in the court, they are more willing to get into the corporation, market, and the industry as an in-house counsel. They are more willing to work for the government, to the different agency, and they are more willing to work for the NGO and other sectors. And also because now the new generation lawyer, more and more new generation lawyer has a different background. Like our team, we have people with a government agency experience. We have people with a medical degree and medical background. So unlike like 30 or 40 years ago, law schools only provide like undergraduate legal education. Now we have a graduate school to provide legal education to people with the first degree. With different background. So I would say now it's kind of quite different. Lawyers are quite often involved in like litigation, legislation and even lobby this kind of activity. So they change a lot. Like our topic today about this biotechnology, more and more lawyers get into this biotech company as their in-house counsel. I believe just like some of our presenter and speaker today, and more and more lawyers get into the Department of Health or like FDA to become their reviewer and like in-house counsel. So, and they will just work together to solve the problem, and with their different background, different discipline or knowledge. So I would say it's quite different right now, and lawyers are getting more and more involved and important for this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this informative section. It's rare to hear from a legal profession specialized in the life science industry. And now we are open for Q&A session. We have more than 280 participants in different channels now. So please comment the questions in the chat room. I have received several questions now. The first one is from Chuan Yingxia to Remi. What is a robotic testing system intended for, and how will it help improve Taiwan's response to COVID-19? Remi.
Apologize. First of all, to respond to this question, and for those who are not familiar with the biotechnology and the mechanism of the virus detection, I would still like to introduce that and to explain that the traditional PCR testing is the most accurate method and the testing method, but it's rather labor intensive and so time consuming. So TCI just automated the testing process, to improve all the situations. So the entire RT-PCR processed by QVS-96, which is the COVID-19 virus detection machine, can divide it into 3 steps. And for those we connect, the station 1 to station 2 to station 3, we're using the robotic arm to well connected every stations. So so the operation of these steps are fully automated, and the most impressed to me is to even open the tube, the top of the tube, to further conduct the subsequent operations. So that part can be automated as well. So cross contamination is like impossible. All you have to do is to put the tray into the machine. So the QVS-96 can generate and produce more than 2,000 results per day. And Dr. Liao also mentioned that current technology can provide like 6,000 per day, but I would love to further explain that the mechanism and all some other details. But currently TCI has already to develop the larger amount and larger volume of the testing result per day. So well, the final goal, like I mentioned earlier, from TCI, is to provide the global population movement solution. So like I mentioned, 3 billion people traffic by air per year, and you probably cannot imagine that from Zhangyi Jichang, more than 65 million passengers per year, and from Taiwan 46 million passengers per year. So by using this mechanism and the fully automated, the robot can definitely set a very good example for the whole world, to respond to the COVID-19 and to prevent the second or the third outbreak.
Okay, thanks. And I got a question from Joanne. She has a question to Dr. Lai, what are some of the variations in the intellectual property management strategies between Taiwan and the US? For example, how do you prioritize and budget which innovations to patent? So,
Well,
Dr.
in the US, I'd like to use Bauschenau example. Once invention was made by a scientist engineer, he or she submitted the invention to the patent group of the legal department in the company. And the legal group will set up quarterly meeting with business group. We call patent committee meeting, meeting between patent lawyers and key scientists and manager of the group. The priority, then they set the priority into the couple category. Category one is highest priority is in critical technology and also in business need, must be filed right away. Second priority is the invention is significant but not critical, so just put on hold. And third is invention which is immaterial to the business, then they just discard. And the company, and once they decide for the patent lawyer write the patent in-house and submit it, and first to US PTO, and 1 year later they decide to go with PCT and Taiwan. And because the company has ample resources, so they can write 67 patents a year. So that's very good. And in Taiwan, in the case in Taiwan, because the only company I work for is Pegavision, it's a startup. So we have limited resources. So we file patent based on the technology which is critical for company to compete in the world, particularly for a new startup like Pegavision. And the company will farm out to outside legal counsel to write a patent, first in Taiwan and 1 year later to other countries like Europe, China, Japan, and the US, something like that.
Thanks. The other question is from Stephen. He asks him, the first question is the direct-to-consumer genetic test services are much more common and accessible nowadays. What is your view on this market trend? And what type of regulatory measures are currently in place, so to speak, in Taiwan, and what more are yet to be considered? Kim, you haven't unmute yourself.
Okay, apologize. Okay, there are several companies, especially in the United States, where we call direct-to-customer genetic testing have been sprouting in the last few years. The market size for direct-to-consumer genetic testing exceeds about $1 billion in 2019. And it's going to grow around 13% compound annual growth rate between 2020 and 2028. And there are several categories of direct-to-customer genetic testing: predictive testing, carrier testing, ancestry and relationship testing, and others. In the European and American market, in US market, the ancestry and relationship testing market segment accounted for about 45% of the market share in 2019. Because there's a growing demand for ancestry tests. So the people are kept curiosity to unite with your living relatives across the different parts of the world. So this type of test gains a lot of popularities. And so I believe that's a trend for the United States and Europe. But in the Asian market, I believe the predictive testing for some kind of inherited diseases or congenital disease will be more popular. For example, we have some genetic tests was testing BRCA1 and 2 that gives you the risk factor of whether you are at a risk of getting breast cancer inherited from your parents or your from close relatives. Okay, so I think that's market share. That's where the market is going to be. And for the regulatory landscape, some of the direct to consumer tests are reviewed by regulatory entities like FDA, while others are not. In general, direct to customer tests for non-medical, general wellness or low risk medical purposes are not reviewed by FDA before they are offered. Direct to customer tests for moderate to high risk medical purposes, which may have a higher impact on medical care, are generally reviewed by FDA. So FDA, what they look at is that analytical validity, meaning whether a test can accurately and reliably measure what it claims to measure. And also they are looking at the clinical validity, which means whether the measurement is predictive of a certain state of health. Okay, so, but it's important that in every country, the legislators and regulators consider patient care can be adversely impacted not just by unsafe devices, but also by lack of availability of diagnostic technologies that could assist patients with existing medical needs. So the goal of regulatory efforts should therefore to identify an optimal balance for both protect patient safety, but also not denying the access to valuable laboratory services because of the long, lengthy process approval. Okay, so that's something we have to consider. Deregulation and overregulation may both pose negative impact to the practice of innovative medicine. The other part of the question is that for Taiwanese biotech companies to gain share in the international arena, I think it's critical to increase regulatory capabilities and more international marketing activities, more participation in the Global Healthcare Expo, and obtain more feedback from the foreign customers. The other area which is traditionally overlooked is limited R&D investment from the Taiwanese biotech company. The government of Taiwan should look at another criteria to encourage the biotech companies to go to IPO status without looking at the current financial status. Instead, they should look at the level of technology and level of investment they put on R&D. That's what Hong Kong does for the IPO for biotech industries. Also, Taiwan has advantage of ICT, semiconductor, and even design. Therefore, I believe the government can help to organize and leverage these resources and pick the most promising area of medical device manufacturing and or design. Also, we should enhance our relationship with the leading biotech companies and the leading university in the United States and the EU market and participate their studies and clinical trials, as Taiwan is well represented in Asian population. I think that's my view on this. Thank you.
Thanks. And other questions from Dusam Little Rich. His question is addressed to Indy. In the fintech industry, companies use a sandbox concept to mitigate risks and overcome some regulatory hurdles and deadlocks. He's not familiar with the framework in Taiwan, but do you think it is possible that a similar concept can be applied in Taiwan in future development of its life science industry, particularly in the context of current global pandemic?
Yes. So I think that's a great question, and my answer is yes. The idea of the sandbox on biotechnology regulatory reform has been frequently raised in recent years. But more importantly, more critically, is that just 1 month ago, Taiwan has held this Bio-Taiwan Committee, the highest consultation agency for biotechnology, just directly under Taiwan Premier Su Zhenchang. And their committee has reached its conclusion for the conference, and in which the regulatory reform is one of the most critical issues for the future development of Taiwan biotechnology. And the sandbox of biotech regulation is one of the substantial proposal has been raised and has been concluded for the committee. So just like your question, and my answer is yes. Sandbox on the technology regulatory has been taken seriously in Taiwan. Although we haven't seen the full proposal and the proposed legislation be submitted to the Congress, our legislative yuan, but I believe that will be one of the hottest topic in the biotechnology in Taiwan, the market. Yes, and so my answer is yes.
Okay, thank you. And we also have another questions for you, also from Stephen. He asks you about Taiwan recently announced the extension of Biotech and new Pharmaceutical Development Act, and also expand its application. What do you think about this move and its impact? Could it lead to a more robust, comprehensive regulations happening soon?
You mean, can you say the question again? Just a new pharmaceutical act, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, as I said, like in the past, we used the one law, it's the Pharmaceutical Affairs Act, to regulate both the drug and the medical device. And the main mindset for the law itself and for the reviewer of the Taiwan FDA is to review the drug application. So they use this mindset to review the medical device, especially for this new health app medical device, this software, health software. It creates a lot of obstacle and question and problem. Like they will ask, this law will ask the manufacturer has the GMP, the good manufacturer, this license or certificate. It's for it's for like a drug or the traditional medical device manufacturer. But a software company is more like you guys in Silicon Valley. You can imagine the software company is just like the regular office, and just need a laptop, the computer, and the desk, and just several engineer. So how come this kind of company will also require to provide like a GMP? It doesn't. It's just like you ask the big feet be fit into the very small shoes. It's just like create a more problem and issue. So that's why our government was aware of this situation. That's why we have this new medical device act that separate. They use the new law, new regulation to regulate this medical device. And Taiwan FDA is still creating and thinking about this bylaw and the regulation, governing regulation under this new medical device act. Because it's a new act, haven't been put into effect. Probably will next year or like 2 years later, after they have created and passed all this regulation or like a bylaw for including like how to review health app, health software, because it's a new type of the medical device in the market. So they cannot use like a traditional view to review this kind of product. So everything is getting developing, and everything, a lot of things is happening just this year and recently. So we still we take very close to this new development, and we believe there will be better regulatory regime for this new act to take effect.
Yeah, thanks. I actually looking forward to this law taking effect because I work in medical device company as a legal counsel, and I feel really confused why the medical device should apply the same
Pharmaceutical Affairs Act
standard as the pharmaceutical, and especially when you want to advertise your products, it's a very big problem. You have
exactly
limitations. Yeah.
Yeah.
So great. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Due to the time restraint, we cannot answer any more questions. I'm going to provide the links. Sorry. Should be this one. Okay, I will provide the links here. So you can feel free to connect us by linking. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.